What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 48 of my journal, of my blog. I'm building my own AI search platform from scratch. I quit my Google job a couple years back, more than 2 years back. I was part of Google search leadership. I quit to start my own search startup by myself as a one-person company. I have no funding, and I've had the best days ever since I quit to build this thing. I'm very close to launching. I want to talk about how am I building this, what is my thought process, what is the architecture, some of the technical details in this series of videos. Today, though, I'm going to talk about coding AIs, coding LLMs, coding agents. I have been using coding agents assistants to build this thing, obviously, because this is a massive platform that I'm building. Uh, in the platform I'm building, there's also a mini knowledge graph. I was part of the knowledge graph org at Google, and I think it adds a lot of value to a search platform. So there's a little mini knowledge graph implementation as well. And today I want to talk about how am I building it using Codex and Claude, mostly Claude and Codex. I've used some other coding agents as well. Those are the major ones. But first, start with this statement by the US government. I, like many people, have been using Fable 5 for the last 2 days since it came out, and it's been great. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna lie. I will say though, compared to others who saw a massive jump from Opus to Fable, I didn't see that massive jump. What I did observe were two things. One was it was a lot more creative and it was not very mechanical as Opus. Keep in mind, I was using Opus 4.8 with max thinking, um, but Fable, and I was using Fable 5 extra high thinking, and Fable was more creative. And the best example I can give is um, the one of the areas, one of the things I was working on was inconsistent responses. So sometimes the responses would have certain sections, like in my case, embedded images or videos or X platform posts and things like that. And sometimes it wouldn't. And I was having a really hard time um, coming up with a good solution for that. And I asked Fable to come up with some really creative ways to solve this without over engineering, without building something that's very super overly complex. And I had asked the same question to Opus, and Fable checked the code base. Opus did too, but Fable was much more sort of to the ground, and the thinking was, in my opinion, Fable's thinking was a little unique, a little bit in how it kind of approached it, and the at the end of the day, the options it came up with compared to Opus were a lot more interesting, a lot more relevant to me. And some of them were pretty like interesting, like, oh, okay, can I do that and not rebuild X, Y, and Z? Long way to say it. It came up with better options. And which is important for every time I build something, I have to come up with how do I build it? And you need options. And I need something that matches my values, principles, and also the size of my company. I can't be over engineering everything. And also, I have a certain timeline. Anyways, seems like it's taken off because there has been some kind of a directive from the US government. So, all I can say is it has been great, s- while it lasted. That's all I can say. Um, this makes me think that it's not going to be back anytime soon. Um, because now whatever national security concerns that the government has, you cannot resolve those overnight. I mean, now they're going to dig deep. In fact, my guess is if I was part of the US government, if they ran the same checks on Opus 4.8 with max thinking, they may find it. And so what I'm thinking is just someone close to the government triggered some kind of a hey, going too fast call, and a lot of people have been. I think AI development is so fast that I use AI every day to build, and my product is an AI product. And even for me, it's insane to see the speed and growth and of development and how smart these things are getting. It is scary. So I am in favor of um, spending more time in alignment and making sure the path we are on is really what we want to. This is for the AI labs, not for people like me. I used to work for Google where we worked very closely with DeepMind. But the interesting thing about DeepMind and Google is that Google, just being a large organization, they've been around for a while, 26 years now. I was at Google when they spent the 25th year anniversary. I still have the pin that says 25. Um, the Google but is by nature conservative, just as an organization. They have more, and I can attest to this because I was working at Google. They have more checks and balances, and that's one of the reasons they didn't release some of the AI and the LLMs that obviously ChatGPT released, or ChatGPT released the chat app in the form of a chat, but it was really just LLMs. Not to take away anything from OpenAI, obviously they did a lot more. I mean, it was much more better fine-tuned, much better reinforcement learned than Google's, if I were to guess. But anyway, Google, there are a lot of checks and balances. So the Gemini org is much more, or the DeepMind org is much more conservative. And so their models come out um, slower than the AI labs, the top AI labs, OpenAI and Anthropic, at least in the US. Um, and that puts them at a disadvantage. But Anthropic, I don't know why they suddenly, I've been using Claude from almost day one. And I want to say this year and starting late last year, they've had this urge to just accelerate like crazy. It's almost like they had a leadership change right underneath, like Dario, or they brought in some new people. And a lot of people say maybe it's because of IPO. I don't believe that. I don't think they need more money. I mean, they already have a lot. I mean, yes, they're running in losses, and yes, they need the money to run this infrastructure, but I don't think it can be just that shallow. It's a fantastic org from as I, I, I once interviewed, I mean, not interviewed, but some recruiter had contacted me to join Anthropic. I mean, I had nothing but good things to say. She had nothing but good things to say. It's great org. OpenAI, I don't know much, but Anthropic, they had a great culture. I'm talking about last year. uh, or a little over a year ago, I would say. But something changed with Anthropic in the last year, and something changed. And they just foot and feet accelerating like crazy, which is insane. It's great for the AI industry, great for people like me who use uh, Claude on a daily basis. I still personally always thought, and I will still think, if I were to pick one between Claude, even Fable, and Codex for coding, I most of the time will pick Codex because it's almost like I've gotten in touch with Codex. I can understand how it's thinking. It's not as wild. It's more predictable and much more. I feel it's thorough. um, Claude models, Opus, and Fable, because they're so expressive and creative, and they're a little wild, is how I describe it. Maybe that's what the U.S. government saw, but not in a really bad way. But they're really wild in terms of they're more creative. It's like you have two children, and one's just more creative, much more expressive. Again, not judging the two kids, but and so you can see like the way they talk, what they want to do, where they want to go for vacation, how they spend their day. You can see the difference. And in those two kids, Codex would be the kid that would like come to school, go to school on time, come back from school from time, eat everything, do what they're supposed to, be a good kid. Sometimes they would have, some shenanigans, but they would be like predictable. Uh, the other kid, that would be like Fable and Opus. They would be like nice kid, and all of a sudden they'd go like 7 p.m. They just change slight personality. Like they would want to do things more. They want to express more. They would say more. They would complain more, but they would accomplish more, maybe, if I were to guess. But I prefer Codex. So to be perfectly honest, most of the code that either I'm writing or editing, but most of the code, I guess these days I don't edit and write that much code. But most of the code that is written in my code base in the last 6 months, I want to say, is Codex, not Claude, not Fable. But what I use Fable is to assess, come up with ideas, uh, and uh, test and review and um, plan, all those areas where you do need more creativity. But for coding, I still use Codex. So this doesn't set me back, honestly, that much. It's like I lost a partner, like a good friend, a very good sort of engineer who's also very creative in Fable. Um, but I still have Codex, my trusting partner that can keep going coding. So that's what I have to say. There's one more thing I want to say in this live stream is I came up with this nice approach. I want to say I invented this approach, but I don't think it's an invention. I came up with this nice approach for my two agents. I use more than one coding agent, not more than two. Today I have four, maybe five. Yeah, five. One, two, three, four, five. But only three of them are active at the moment. I don't use generally more than two coding agents to me. Um, or three, I want to say, because it gets overwhelming for me because I'm checking diffs, everything they do, because I want to be grounded. I want to be the decision maker, and I want to make sure they're not introducing complexity or doing things I don't want to. So I have to keep tabs versus. So I'm not really vibe coding. I'm kind of using them as a companion coding partner. And what I came up with was this approach where I in the LLM instructions, I have specific instruction that, hey, create a file called a session file when you start. And before you respond, always check the session file if you have a message, either from me or from other coding agents. And if there is, respond to that coding agent in their file, um, and just move the marker. So there are a list of messages. You see that list of messages? And this there's a marker, red marker. So I have these multiple agents that read the markers. And that's been pretty cool. And the agents have been talking back and forth. The thing that I want to highlight is that they don't they're not always talking to each other because the instruction I have is when you get and receive an instruction from me or a special command, check messages is like I have a special command, like check your messages. Um, they will do it. But here's another like message where you can see there are a couple of red markers, but this is not red. So it's been really cool. It's been really cool to do this. Um, um, I think. So yeah, just wanted to share that it's been working fine. It's very simple approach than agentic A to A, agentic mm, uh, communication between two agents, like using A to A, whatever protocol, all these protocols Google has come up with and others. This is a very simple approach. Like have them, and this is a good way to check, like, what are they talking? And they do talk. They do talk. It's funny. They talk. Agents talk. So that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. But today was more of a goodbye to Mythos or Fable rather. I don't think Fable's going to come anytime soon. Even if it comes, it'll be nerfed very much, and then it'll just behave like a slightly smarter, more creative, slightly creative, more creative Opus. It doesn't take away too much. I think Opus is a good model, and like I said, I rely on Codex more than Claude models for coding, anyways. So it doesn't affect me that much, but I do miss that creativity. I don't think Fable is coming back the way it was. So I feel privileged I had a chance to use it. And when it'll be back, it'll be nerfed big time. So and this is telling of what's to come. Um, OpenAI and Google will have the same problem. Google models have never been top of the line. DeepMind models, they've always been behind. So, in my opinion, so I think Claude and OpenAI will have to bear the wrath of the U.S. government for the most part. And I think this is something Elon Musk had mentioned it in the past too. There needs to be some checks and balances. So I'm in favor of the U.S. government doing this. I think this is important. Someone has to keep tabs on the government. Probably is the best entity because there is no other entity today, governing body, governing entity. I I'm okay. I think this is the right thing. I mean, if I was part of the U.S. government, I would have directed something similar. Like, hey guys, I mean, you can't just go in gangbusters, um, releasing these models. I mean, yes, you're doing your internal checking, but the knowledge you have in your organization in Anthropic versus the U.S. government national security knowledge is so much vast, so different, and the government has so much vast knowledge. Now, well, I hope that things they don't slow down too much, but you need checks and balances. This is was going too fast. Even for me, I was nervous, and I've been part of the AI industry for a long time. Well, like I said last year, someone joined Anthropic and they pushed the pedal to the metal. They just like went gangbusters. I don't know why. They could have avoided this. People say it's IPO. I don't believe that. Maybe I'm wrong. But why go this fast? They didn't have to release Fable. They didn't have to. Why release it? I really think they shouldn't have released Fable and work more closely with the government. I think OpenAI works with the government every model they release before they launch. Now, which government body, I don't know. But I think Anthropic was going a little crazy. And I'm in support for the most part with asterisk, some condition. The US government, so thanks the government to step in. We need some checks and balances, but hopefully we don't want to also stifle innovation and competition. And I don't know about the China story. I don't know. Like, who can talk about China? So maybe they'll use this to speed up their models. I was reading some post yesterday on Reddit that Chinese students prefer Opus or Claude and Codex models because even they think they're superior than Chinese counterparts. Um, but they're just like 6 months behind, 9 months behind. The thing last thing I'll say in this video, 15 I think minutes and 60 minutes in, is it's not just the model, it's the tooling. I think Elon Musk realized this for XAI. It it's agentic. This is agentic coding, and so they spend a lot of time reinforcement learning, thinking how a software engineer would operate. It truly is agentic. Like it by agentic I mean it has different abilities. Um, that you need to train the train the model. Like example is like search before design. I mean, this is a very simple thing, but search the web before designing and find the latest best practices. The other thing is let me commit or check Git the history of the file. Right? These are things you have to reinforcement learn and train the models. And that's where, so that's one thing. And the other thing is, of course, Claude code, which got leaked, the source code, the tooling around it. That's what made Claude so incredibly popular among developers. It's not just the model, it's the tooling and the agentic ability. That's what, if XAI wants to catch up, and I'm sure they know this, they have to catch up on the tooling, not just the model thinking, and also the agentic abilities. Thinking agentic, the loop, they both OpenAI and Anthropic now support a loop command, which is just keep going, keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. That's what made these models special for developers. Yet for consumer, ChatGPT is still the king. Like most people still use ChatGPT. For developers, this is why. And the secret, Anthropic's secret, is the Cloud Code tooling and uh, all the investment they made in the agentic abilities. That's much more than OpenAI and Google. I mean, look at Google Gemini's agentic abilities and Claude. I mean, I was talking with my ex Google friends. Within Google, they want to use Claude and not Gemini, or at least in combination with Gemini. It's a big problem with within Google. They have a real situation going on. Claude is like, it's like Usain Bolt, just like spat through and left everybody behind. It's insane. So anyway, I think overall I'm in support of this U.S. government action, and hopefully good things will come out of it and not just overall slowing down of the industry. Thanks everyone. I'll see you in the next one.